Hello, my beautiful friends. Thank you so much for your patience with the readings this month. As you can hear, I've been a little under the weather actually for almost a full week, and I've been really working hard to listen to spirit to slow my roll. So that is why I am tardy this month. I don't think I've ever put out readings this late before. So thank you all for your patience with me. I don't know if you all are feeling the collective energy, but there is a huge shift right now in our identity. So some people are having identity crisis energy, and some of us are just going through an identity shift energy. So if you don't feel like your future or the things that are unfolding for you are really tangible at this time, do not fret. That is a collective pattern. I just wanted to remind you that I will be in New York City, Brooklyn, and Manhattan, and even in Queens if that's where it takes me, on Memorial Day weekend. So Saturday, May 26th through the 28th. In the description box below, there is a link to my website for in-person reading times. If you don't see a time there that works for you, please reach out to me because I will do whatever it takes to meet you guys and link up. As always, anything that you need from me on my website can be found there in the description box. I have all a bunch of new services, including some stuff that gets you goodies in the mail, so that's super exciting. Shout out to everybody that met up with me in LA and in Oakland. You guys are magical. But an extra special shout out to my LA peeps because we had an event out there that was truly out of this realm. Truly out of this realm. So I'm extremely grateful for that. And I got slapped with this sickness to slow down right when I got back. So I've been in recuperation mode. That's the only reason you won't see me here is if I'm just tending to my own being. So yeah. Also, I do the mid-month readings for career and love on my website via Siren Gang. If you're interested in that, it's $10 a month, and you can get all the info below on that. It also includes my weekly blog and all that good stuff. So, as always, I am insanely grateful for you riding with me, being here with me, and just being humans, having this very spiritual experience, and being spiritual beings, having a human experience, and remembering that we are ebbing and flowing on this planet. I love you all. Mwah. All right, Libra. So I do feel there's a focus on ending mental pressure. And if there's anything that you've been putting off, like or putting onto the back burner, you're realizing that you can't do that really much longer because it's not beneficial to you. There's also a need to no longer be patient with something because the movement is here. Right? The change is here, and you don't want to let this energy pass by, because I don't feel it's necessarily being created by you. I feel like it's kind of being bestowed upon you, so you need to kind of get swift with it. Some of you can be moving to a place that is a lot more comforting to your needs and supportive to your needs. That move can be spiritual and emotional and metaphysical. It doesn't have to be physical. With the Ten of Swords and the Temperance here, I feel that there is just an end of waiting and an end of trying to take baby steps to your goal. I think it's time to take strides now. Whatever that goal is, that's going to change for all of you, but there's no longer this attitude of I got to wait a little bit at a time. I got to wait a little bit at a time. Now is the time, okay? It's all happening now. With the Knight of Cups and the Page of Swords, I feel there's going to be a conversation that you either are perceiving, right? Picking up on, it's not really happening in a physical manner with actual words, or it's happening over text messages or emails or on the phone. I don't think it's really happening in person, where you're having to read between the lines as to where love in your life is headed. Okay, this conversation could be with a potential partner, with your partner, with a friend about your love life, something like that. Potentially with an earth sign, or about an earth sign. And it's also time to get practical about what you want in love and in what type of relationship is really going to satisfy your needs. You're the first sign so far that I've gotten any type of love message, and I feel that that is the case here. For those of you that have no options on the horizon or whatever, this is still a conversation about what type of open-hearted space you need to put yourself in to be able to start to receive that type of energy, okay? All right, my Libras. So, interesting stuff we have here this month. I do feel, you're the first sign, I think I said before, that I do feel that love and relationship is a factor in what we're working with here. Your overall energy is the Two of Pentacles. So, I feel that the balance that's needing to be struck, if you will, is one of your home life, emotional life, personal life, and your work life. And to an extent, needing to bring those into balance to bring harmony to your overall being. And remembering that not everything is meant to be juggled, okay? Not everything is meant to be compartmentalized, okay? You guys have had the Empress for months, man. I don't know what type of power you're still pushing to tap into. There's this huge creative force, this huge deserving force that you're working on. And I do feel for a lot of you, it is your mother energy, whether you have children or not, or that's even part of, part of the cards for you. I just feel, that you're constantly working towards being this mother energy, meaning like divine mother, this like massively receptive energy that can build and command without raising your voice, without pushing the envelope, right? And whether you're a man or a woman is irrelevant. That energy is going to work the same. It's a commanding type of energy, but it's commanded through presence, not through force. There's a lot of yellow here as well. So I feel there's a huge focus on giving and receiving this month and in what you gained from your relationships of all types. And kind of taking stock in that, okay? What relationships feed you? What relationships deplete you? What kind of energy do you infuse into your relationships? And how do those add or take away from your life? Okay? Because again, with the Two of Pentacles here, I do feel that there needs to be more balance between what you have cooking beneath the surface. And I don't necessarily even feel this is emotional. For some of you, I feel this energy is a little bit an energy of manipulation. Not necessarily in a bad way, but could be. Depends on, what's going on in your life. But it's remembering that just because you know that you have the power to shift and create waves, right, in your immediate reality, doesn't mean you should necessarily execute that power unless it's for a greater purpose. You know what I'm saying? So make sure when you're going to make waves in life, you know what the purpose of them will be when they crash. Because it's only a matter of time. No wave can stay up forever. All right? What you're being asked to release this month is the Fool with the Eight of Cups. And on the Eight of Cups, we have trust. Now, this is interesting because the Fool, right, is all about new beginnings and not taking any baggage with you and just being born again, if you will. And the Eight of Cups is about, starting over, but starting over from scratch in the sense of like having to really turn your back on something that you've invested in for a long time. And I feel to an extent, this may be people that you have trusted. But I do feel this energy is a little bit contradictory because the Eight of Cups happens at night. The Fool happens during the day, right? And even that contrast is really all through this reading. We have 2 3s here, right? And we have the other 3 here. But this is in broad daylight, this is in a building, right? Darkness. This happens at night in the darkness, this happens in broad daylight. You know what I mean? So there's this contrasting energy that you're working with. And to an extent, it's almost like, are you the same person in the day as you are in the night? And that can be on a personality scale. That can be like, well, you're one person at work and you're another person at home or whatever. But there needs to be more, I don't want to say transparency. Transparency really isn't it. And I don't think Libra really likes to function under transparency. Not that y'all are fake, but you do, you know, function with a mask. That's just, you know, what it is. But with Eight of Cups in trust, I do feel that you're needing to leave behind some level of trust issues. And the thing about trust issues is, yes, they all stem from somewhere, and they all stem from a very valid place, right? We had someone betray us that we held very near and dear to our heart or whatever. However, again, like I was saying with the waves, if we are not aware of how keeping that chip on our shoulder affects what we do down the road, it can be detrimental to us. So, and we also, if we have trust issues with other people, we innately have a more difficult time trusting ourselves. So, do you trust where you place your emotional investments? Okay? And are you willing to turn your back on situations that remind you of a time where trust was very foreign to you? Okay? Because this Fool energy, I do feel you've already started again. Like whatever new phase that you were bringing into your life, I do believe it's already begun. But on a physical plane, but I don't think that you are all in emotionally. Okay? And you need to bring your emotional body more into the present moment because it's kind of lagging behind your physical reality, which is making it more difficult for you to bring harmony into your now. Spirits, the door that's not open for you, those ones closed. We have the Three of Pentacles with the Empress, another 3, and the Ruined Future. So whether you're a man or a woman, whether being a mother is something that is on your agenda or something that has already happened for you, even if it's not, you have to start thinking about your future in a very tangible way, meaning not necessarily in a highly grounded way, meaning like thinking about how to do it all and execute it all, but you need to really tap into that rooted, because this card rules all the 3 lower chakras for me, right? It's a feminine energy of receptivity, and it rules the bottom chakras, because our power in our vision, right, our third eye, our vision, is limited by how much we can ground it into this 3D density, right? So if you have a hard time projecting your future in a way that you can take tangible steps toward it, it's going to be hard, right? Because the 3 energy is about building, right? You're in a building phase right now for something that I feel is going to project far into the future. And you're not the only one that's going to be there to accomplish it as well. There's going to be people that are going to be there to help you, right? With the 3 of Pentacles here. There's going to be people that you need by your side. You may also live in a house of 3, or, you know, like maybe you, your partner, and a roommate or whatever. I don't know what the dynamic is. But especially if that's the case, and this can even be a pet as a third person, there's this focus that needs to be put on what is your nucleus, right? And how can you draw in your power from these people. It's like almost like I want to say power players. Like you need to invest in the people in your life that are power players and not put your energy towards things that don't build on a lifestyle and a vision that you have for yourself long term. This feels very long term, okay? And now is the time to act, even if you don't want to buy a house or to get a new job right now or to be a mom or to be a parent right now, you still need to hold that vision because there are practical steps to take now. Even if you've already just made a transition, I feel like there's more still to hold true. It's almost like you're scrying into a crystal ball and like holding it there, and you're having to envision things and hold that vision. And the longer you can hold that vision, the more grounded it becomes. Because once we hold the vision and we get that feeling, we can then see indicators in our reality to take steps towards it. Okay? I hope that makes sense. I know it's a little obscure, but I just see future planning. A lot of this is future planning, but having to take the necessary steps now to make goals happen like a year to 3 years from now. Okay? Your current energy as it relates to all of this month, we have the Three of Wands in your headspace, the Death card in your heart, and the Page of Wands in your foundation. And on the Page of Wands, we have the rune luck. So I feel that you benefit highly from a childlike sense of wonder this month. That luck is on your side when you take life a lot more in a more lighthearted manner and just focus on what excites you. And maybe things that you consider more juvenile, like they're kind of beneath you normally, like they're not as cool maybe, or they're not as like progressive or whatever. But there needs to be this sense of freedom that you incite in your life, this level of levity, okay? And I feel this Page of Wands is an opportunity to really harness that last piece of the puzzle to put up this A-frame, if you will, right? Because we have the Three of Wands here, and then we have the Page of Wands, which is another wand that we build the four, right? So the key that you're missing to your vision, this, again, for some of you, this could be, again, what will my life be like when a child comes into the picture? What will my life be like when my passion project is birthed? What will my life be like once I add a spouse to my life? You know, this is another factor that you know would require your spiritual and fiery investment, right? And I say fiery because like to sustain things, we have to have a certain amount of energy flowing to them, right? So what will my life be like when I put another flame on the fire, you know, put another pot on the fire, if you will? Because the Three of Wands in your headspace, again, we have this turning your back. You're ready to see things differently than where you have been and what you have, like your vision has been limited to some extent because I think you've been more focused on how to just bring balance to your immediate reality. But the key to finding ease in your current now is to focus on the long term, okay? And start making steps towards that today. Because waiting, like I said in the beginning, is pointless. It's pointless. Because if we wait and we're like, now's not the time, now's not the time, now's not the time, first of all, that's not for us to decide. Second of all, you know, sometimes like we don't know exactly where we're headed and we don't realize that we would need a certain skill set that takes time to hone later in the future, you know? So it's like, okay, now might not be the time to launch a business or buy a new house or whatever. However, take this downtime to hone a skill set that has always intrigued you or whatever that would help you later down the road. With the Death card in your heart, for some of you, again, I feel there is some sort of ending to distrust and to where you have invested a lot of your emotional well-being. I think you realize that all things come to an end over time. And at the very least, they come to ends of cycles, okay? Sometimes we think people are a certain type of way, and we learn that they're not. And that can really bring us a lot of disappointment. But we have to remember that they were showing us who they were all the time, and the true disappointment is not noticing sooner. You know what I mean? So for some of you, this is a little bit of a breakup-y energy. I don't see that for a lot of you. If that's the case, I think you would have already broken up. But I think a lot of people in relationships are going through transition, and it's interesting because the boats on this Three of Wands are moving the what I would consider the past direction, and the Death card boat is moving into the future direction. So through change, right, through death, new birth is incited, and we do have this Page of Wands that's also looking into the future. So whatever has ended in your life recently and is in the process of being regenerated, that is actually the fuel that you needed to perpetuate your divine plan going forward. Okay? So no matter how small something seems to be, do not underestimate its power. And whatever is tugging at your heartstrings right now and making you feel more alive than you have been before, that's where you need to invest your time. Okay? Spirit's advice, we have the Four of Wands with the Hermit, and on the Hermit we have love. So some of you may be involved with a Virgo, or you may have been single for a long time or are newly single. And you're realizing that it's time to kind of take that journey. For those of you that are not with a Virgo, it's time to take that journey inward to figure out, what do you love in general, right? It doesn't have to be relationship-wise. And that can go for anybody. Like, what do you love in general? What makes you tick, right? Because kind of like I told Virgo, actually, Virgo had the Tower here. Sometimes what we love changes. And that really can like throw us off balance because we don't know where to point our arrow. You know what I'm saying? So even if your target has moved to a point where you feel dizzy trying to find that target, it's okay. Notice how the Hermit has his head down. He's watching the steps that he's taking moment by moment and monitoring the fact that he's creating these footsteps. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's okay to take your eyes off all of this and focus solely on things that are only affecting you. Now, for those of you that are looking to move home or have moved home, moved physical houses, I do feel that you will find a lot more love, and again, the sense of love in the most expansive way, not in a romantic way. You will find a lot more love in your new space. And for some of you that will be with a Virgo, some of you are just thinking about what that would be like, right? And you don't have to actually be moving in a physical home with that Virgo. You can think about, like, you know what, I want to celebrate life with this person. This person makes me dig in. And this could be not a Virgo, but this person that you celebrate life with and you really feel at home with also can make you really have to reflect on what you love and what is important to you and what you value. So for some of you, I also feel that you may be isolated in your home because, you need to figure out where your priorities are at and what you love. Okay, so there is this deep dive into understanding kind of why you are the way you are. And not that you're not doing that work all the time, but it's just more highlighted and it's more focused on what you're passionate about, okay? And what is worth celebrating in life, okay? Because even though you're willing to show up to any party, it doesn't mean that every party even excites you, all right? I hope that makes sense. Most likely outcome moving towards June, we have the Nine of Pentacles with the Knight of Swords, and on the Knight of Swords, we have prosperity. So again, there's this very singular energy. It doesn't necessarily mean single for real. For some of you it will. But the Nine of Pentacles is extremely confident in who they are and what they have to offer. So you may be getting a new offer coming in to make more money or save more money so that you feel more abundant. And there's also a shift in how you understand your lifestyle, okay? And it's going to come in quick. It's going to either happen through conversation or all of this self-reflection that you do has you taking strides to be a prosperous being on all fronts, right? So if you already had your money situation good, but, love was out of whack, like your self-love was out of whack, or, your emotional scale was out of whack, your spiritual scale was out of whack, the Knight of Swords is coming in and is like, cut the shit, like, you know who you are, right? So don't get too caught up. Yeah, Nine of Cups too. Don't get too caught up in the physical realm this month because it's going to reveal itself to you going towards June. The priority this month is to know who you are and where you're headed and find that new target. And you're only going to find it inside of you. And it's because you're needing to tap into a new type of creative energy. And I feel that your overall life plans have shifted. And now it's time to kind of go back to the drawing board. And it's not that your like hashtag life goals have changed. It's just your method of arrival has changed. And after you take all this inventory this month, you're going to realize that whether people are with you or not, whether those original players are with you or not, you have what it takes to arrive at the goal that you wanted to. Okay? Ooh, Taurus got this card. My good comes from everywhere and everyone. I release all resistance to money and I now allow it to flow joyously into my life. So, know that more money is on the way, more opportunities are on the way, but it's essential first that you know what you're willing to invest yourself in, because how we earn our money takes a toll on us, whether we like to admit it or not. So take stock this month in what excites you, what you could get out of bed for the next 30 years. Okay? It doesn't matter how old you are. Love you all. Peace.